What's the process? Sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah, no, you're
I don't
good.
know like what the screen printing process is. Like, how do you get the graphic on it? You're talking about exposing it. Can you kind of walk
Okay,
through that
yeah,
process quick?
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, how I start normally is like with screen printing stuff is you need to make the design print ready. So that means like taking it into Photoshop or Illustrator and separating all the colors onto different layers and making them all black. Um,
Mm.
because you need to print transparencies and the transparencies need to be black. So if you're doing a three color design, you need to have, and it's black, red, and white. You need to have like a white screen, a black screen, and a red screen. You need a screen for each color, so you need a transparency for each color. So the transparency is like exactly what it sounds like. It's just like transparent film. It's kind of plasticky,
Mm-hmm.
and you can print on that with like an inkjet printer. I use a plotter that my dad has down at his shop, just so I can do like larger format stuff. Um, so you print the transparencies, and then you need to coat your screens with emulsion. So emulsion is basically like I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's kind of like this coating that you use. You it's light sensitive, so you fill up this thing. It's called a scoop coater. It's like a little trough to almost. So you fill that up with emulsion, and then you coat the screen on both sides with it, and then
Uh-huh.
you need to let it dry. So you let that dry, and then you. I have all my screens measured out. So I put the transparency in the same spot every time. There's there's like more advanced ways to do this, but this is what works for me right now. So then you tape the transparency down to the back of the screen, and then you have to expose it. And I have an exposure unit, so you just it's like it's this machine that you put the screen in, and then you clamp the lid down, and it like vacuum seals
Mm.
it, and then it exposes it to UV light. So what that does is anything that's on the emulsion that isn't covered by like the black you printed on the transparency gets exposed to the light, and that cooks it and it hardens it. So then it's not water soluble at that point. So then everything that was underneath the black stuff on your transparency, aka your design,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't get cooked, and that's water soluble. So then you take that to your spray booth and you wash out the design with a power washer.
Oh, okay. So the
Yeah.
black comes off then. That's just
Yeah, you have
transparent.
to take the transparency off and then you spray it out, and all the emulsion that was in the screen that was underneath the black stuff, or the ink, the print, the
Yeah.
transparent, whatever you want to
The
call
black
it.
stuff.
Yeah, that falls out, and that leaves you your like stencil, your design.
And you
So
so for like that three-layer logo, like you said, red, white, black, you'd have three different transparencies for that logo,
yeah,
correct?
like for this shirt, like I had a screen for all the black stuff and I had a screen for all the red stuff.
Right.
And on the transparencies, they're both black,
Mm.
just because the least amount of light will come through black. So, like if you were doing a yellow color and you tried to print on your transparency with yellow, all the light is just gonna flow right through that. So you use black, and then once you get on the press, you're not constrained. Like it's just a blank screen. You can put whatever ink you want on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so the process is kind of like you have the transparency or the paper, or first you're in Photoshop and then you turn any color into black and separate them all out. Do you just save them as like a JPEG or something like that?
I use PDFs
Okay.
generally. Yeah, they definitely tend to work the best for printing. JPEGs would probably work, but you have like a lot of artifacting and like weird things that can happen with JPEGs, like
Mm.
little pixelation and stuff, and like PDFs will hold those like hard edges.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so you print that out on the ink printer or whatever like that in black,
Yep.
and then you'd put the emulsion on.
Yep. On
You'd
the screen.
Okay, and then spray it, or
You
with the
let it
UV.
dry,
Okay.
then expose, then spray. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then that's when you'd see, like, I see the videos like you post and other people where it's on the press and you're
Yeah.
switching it over and putting it down and then putting the ink on.
Yep.
That'd be the next step.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep. That's once it gets actually to press. It sounds more complicated than it actually is because of like sort of the jargony stuff like emulsion and transparencies and exposing, but like there's so many good YouTube videos out there on like how to do this. It's really easy to learn.